All right, looks like we're live. Jumping on the stream. Welcome everybody. If you're brand new here and you haven't been following us, shame on you, but it's not too late. We have lots more content to come. Thanks so much for hopping on and checking out our channel. If you're a longtime follower, you know we're up to over 19,000. I think we just hit 19,000 subscribers on our channel, so we're super happy about that. I wanted to jump on because we've got a video cranking right now. One of our many videos that we've got in the hopper, we wanted to share with you guys some of our crazy tenant situations where we've got some tenants that are running amok, out of control, and failing in pretty much every way imaginable. And we wanted to put some of these videos out there because our channel has fun learning, has fun sharing, and mainly really has done everything we can do to share our experiences with you guys out there in social media world, so you can learn about real estate. Maybe you can get into it yourselves, and you can avoid the many mistakes that we made doing this stuff, and simulate some of our success, have an easier, faster track to financial freedom. That's why we came out with this stuff. I wanted to jump on as well so that people, if they, as people load in, have questions, jump into the chat, drop me a question about some of the stuff you were seeing in some of our videos. If you're somebody that just recently watched one of our bad tenant videos, we've got a pretty huge short that's hitting right now with so far it's probably spiked up to about 50,000 views. Let me just check this out. If you missed it, don't miss it. Make sure you go find us on our shorts, watch that video, and feel free to come back here and ask me any questions you have about it. We've got a video where we caught tenants stealing electricity right from the common area hallway, and that's been a pretty big one, and honestly a pretty interactive one on most of our platforms. If you guys don't know me, by the way, I'm Kevin. I'm the Property Prince here on YouTube and all the different places on social media. I'm half of Two Guys Take on Real Estate, and we have a huge following over on TikTok. We're blowing up on Facebook right now, and we're doing pretty respectably on Instagram too. So we love it when people are able to come over and find us over on YouTube. They can jump in, they can ask us questions. By being on YouTube Live, we love to be able to be a little bit more accessible like we are to the TikTok crowd and the Instagram crowd. But because this video has been getting so many comments and questions, I wanted to make sure I had an opportunity to share it, with you guys and share some insight and feedback about it. A lot of times people have follow-up questions, about what's going to happen next or what did happen. But the views are cranking on it. It's our landlord calls police on bad tenant, and definitely not something you wish you have to deal with. It's really unfortunate when you get a tenant situation like something like that. It does come with a job. Unfortunately, you do have that responsibility. It's 100% not an option. You have to handle those situations because you, unfortunately, you do have a responsibility to your good customers that don't deserve to live like that, to have to be put at risk by a bad household living right across the hall from them, for instance. So that's what that video was all about. It's dad is a tenant caught stealing electricity from a common area hallway. That video has been huge. To be honest, I'm not sure if there's a way I can copy it, and as people watch this stream, we can throw it right in here. Throw it in the chat for you. Yeah, it should be in there right now. And again, feel free to check it out. If you have questions about it, jump on to the stream and drop your questions in here as well. We had that video actually was chopped into a couple of different parts, but just really frustrating, I think, for everybody involved. Not just people that own the property, obviously, but the people that live in the property. And that property was something we've been sinking a lot of money into, a lot of work and a lot of time into. And so it becomes doubly frustrating when you see a very disrespecting tenant trashing the place like that, and frankly stealing from you. This is the property where we just remodeled the hallway, and it may not look the most beautiful in the short when you watch it, but when you look at that short, you see that nice, beautiful hallway carpeting, the black carpeting. It's got specks and spots all over it. These same people, not surprisingly, not only are they stealing from us and not paying rent and everything, they ripped open a styrofoam package like they got something shipped to them. There's just bits of hacking all over the place. Really, really frustrating. So when we get to the property, we see a beautifully renovated hallway, all newly painted, all new light fixtures, all new everything. And then we see it literally dirty within just a few days. We have to do weekly cleanings there, and we go there to make a routine rounds of that property, and you see it looking like that. You get really frustrated. And I get it. That's part of the job, part of the service you're providing is you're cleaning up and everything like that, and maintaining a property. But I don't think anybody expects that, that it's a fair expectation to think that somebody's just going to trash a place and think that that's 100% fine. But I always love to hear what people think about that kind of thing. Like I said, it really, really bothered me to see our hallway that we just renovated treated like that. But also not surprising when you understand kind of the quality of some of the customers that you might have to deal with from time to time. So with folks like this, it's really, really important. You not really do anything to retain somebody like this. They've shown that they're a bad customer. You're not somebody you're going to want to continue doing business with. The next thing you want to do is at the first opportunity you have to, let them go take their business elsewhere. You really want to foster and encourage that. You absolutely don't want to retain somebody who's just a terrible customer to you. And bottom line is it becomes, very, very cost prohibitive to do something like that. And when you think about it, right, I mean, that's very similar in any other business. They want good customers. They want repeat customers. They really aren't going to try to encourage a bad customer that costs them money or they don't make money on to keep coming back and frequenting their establishment. But that's kind of the mindset that I have at this point with this specific tenant is they're bad in every which way. So this one where the tenant was caught stealing electricity from the common area hallway. And again, I put the link in the chat section of our live stream here. When you watch that video, I mean, this is a tenant that under the previous owner of the property was a headache. They're a subsidized tenant. So in one hand, when everybody thinks about Section 8, you assume, right, with Section 8, what happens? You always get paid. Section 8's great because at least the money's guaranteed. Well, that's not the case. That's definitely a myth. But don't forget the tenant does have a portion. Now, the tenant's portion goes up and down based on their income. And in this situation here, it's a 2-bedroom apartment in a state like, in Massachusetts, their portion for their rent was only $46, and they actually don't pay it. So not only could Section 8 just simply not pay their end for whatever reason, the tenant in this case, where they're stealing electricity from the hallway, hasn't paid their rent. All we're setting the bar super low for people like this. All we're asking them to do, right? All the state is asking them to do to support themselves to the tune of $46, and they don't do it. Now, the $46 they get from more state money, it's handed out to them in the form of welfare cash, for instance. Literally, welfare money is given to people as cash. It's usually shipped on an ATM type of card. So you take a card, like a bank card, put it in the ATM, and take your welfare cash assistance money out. And that way, you get to decide as a recipient how that money gets spent, where that money is used. And that money's handed to them. And they still don't use it to pay what should be, you would presume, their number one expense, right? Keep their kid with a roof over their head, right? The number one thing you should be paying when it comes to your monthly expenses, probably your shelter, food, utilities, things like that. Unfortunately, these folks, because the bar is set real low, there's no expectations of them to perform. They do the exact opposite, and they pay everything else first, including in this case, they're the corner dealer who's keeping them supplied. It's really, really unfortunate, but that's exactly what the backstory is on this video. So if you had a chance to check out that video, or it's a couple of videos, a couple of different parts, watch it. No, I knew 100% when I saw that cord plugged into the electrical outlet, I knew exactly what the situation was. And I knew no matter what I said, what I did, as soon as I turn my back, they're going to plug that wire back right in. And this way, at least I documented it the first time around. I had a conversation with them. And if there were to be a fire and they were to act, unsafely, put their neighbors at risk, and then something happened, whether they had an accident or an injury or a death, whether a neighbor did or a first responder did, at least I had done my part and I wasn't being negligent. If I see something and I don't address it, I don't interact with it, if they knew I was there cleaning the hallways or if I had a conversation with another tenant or something like that, and I walked by this issue, this glaring, obvious electrical cord, running through the hallways, and I didn't do anything about it, I'm on the hook. If somebody passes away as a result of that, and I knew about it and didn't do anything about it, I'm going to be getting hit for a wrongful death. More importantly, my insurance company is, because they know that I have value, I have insurance that's going to have a huge payout. They're always going to find a way to point the finger of responsibility at somebody who has something to lose or the ability to pay. So as a landlord in that scenario right there, you own a property, you manage it, that's your responsibility. You have to do it. Also, you have to do it to protect your butt. But you have to do that because if you see an issue that could cause harm, risk, damage to person or property, you have to take steps to handle it. And I don't have a lot of sympathy for people that just simply choose to see an unsafe condition and then turn a blind eye to it because they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to have an argument. The rent got paid. They don't want to cause a fuss and then have somebody maybe not pay rent the next month. So they'll just ignore, a situation where maybe the tenant disabled smoke detectors or a fire alarm panel or something like that, because once in a while, there's a false alarm, and so they don't want to deal with it. Maybe they disabled a front door lock to a common area door at a property because, darn it, it's annoying when they have to keep bringing in groceries, or they keep losing, or they lost their key to that door and they don't want to pay for another key or deal with making a copy, whatever it is. So they'll break the door lock. And, what do you care? You don't live there. You don't need to worry about it. If that's how people want to treat your property and have a broken common area door lock, that's up to them. But then when there's an issue, when somebody gets attacked in a hallway because that door wasn't secured, whatever it might be, you're on the hook for it. In fact, maybe you should be. If you knew about an issue that put somebody at risk and you didn't choose to act, maybe you deserve to be held accountable for it. I mean, I think you do. But anyway, I just wanted to jump on real quick while some of our videos are rolling. We do Q&As on a lot of our different social media, and I've been neglecting the heck out of YouTube. So I wanted to jump on here, give you guys an opportunity to do some Q&A here as well, and respond to some of the comments. Check out some of the comments in our video. We got a lot of comments on the tenant caught stealing electricity. Again, this is the part 2 video. That video was cranking with comments. It was definitely a pretty busy video for us. And like I said, I always want to jump in and have a little bit of fun with the folks in the comments section. So thanks, by the way, for providing us a whole lot of value and entertainment. We don't always get to jump in and check out how our streams, how our shorts are doing, but it's a lot of fun when we do get to do that. So thanks so much for being part of that. We have a blast with it. And I know as people are coming and going, and of course, watching this on replay, thanks, by the way, very much for subscribing and checking us out on replay. You guys are in different modes of getting involved in the world of real estate, but I will tell you, at no point does the learning ever stop. So even if you haven't started with your first property, your first flip, your first wholesale deal, your first buy and hold, and becoming a property owner and renting, you are starting in the world of real estate simply by tuning into these kind of things, by jumping on, saying hello, and that's learning, and that's exactly how you get started. And I can't tell you enough. That's super, super important if you want to be able to be successful. You have to be involved, spend your time networking with people, whether it's a couple of social media guys like us, or checking out our videos, or commenting back and forth and having discussions with people. That's going to be absolutely huge. You have to always be training your brain in the world of real estate. Now, it doesn't have to be about owning a property and renting it out. It could be about how to acquire a property to begin with. And a lot of people ask us, how do you find a property for sale? How can you find a property that you want to buy? How can you get a property, especially in today's kind of a market? And I mean, that's a very, very valid question that I think a lot more people need to think about. One of the things I'll tell people is we buy a lot of property through foreclosure auction, especially over the last few years. You can get phenomenal deals at a foreclosure sale. In fact, we only buy them if they're a phenomenal deal, because we go to so many auctions. We go to every auction we possibly can get to that's within a reasonable driving radius from where we live, and this is what I would encourage you to do the same. Look at the opportunity you have to buy a property. Now, maybe it's your first house that you're going to live in. It's a great way to get started. Everybody's heard about going to foreclosure auctions, buying a house, getting a great deal, that kind of a thing. But a lot of people just simply don't do it. And they think, they can't do it. There's so many things that can go wrong. And they're 100% right. There are a lot of things that can go wrong. But can't you say that about pretty much anything? Pretty much, right? So, even just going the safe route, getting a 9-to-5, working really, really hard at a local business or whatever, and then putting an offer in on MLS and buying a house. There's so many things that can go wrong. First of all, you can lose your job, right? There's no guarantee that the company you work for is going to be in business in a week. And in fact, that happens to people. The house you might be buying should still have problems, even if you do an inspection on it. Maybe you're buying it and then the market crashes and you don't have the ability to sell it if you lose your job, or move if your job needs you to move. So there's lots of different things that can go wrong with anything. I would really say learn about foreclosures by tuning in, learning about this stuff, getting your head wrapped around it, and then learn how you can go to an auction. Learn how you can just watch an auction. Listen to our stuff. We have a huge amount of live feeds on our Instagram channel where we go to foreclosure auctions. We bid on properties. You watch us buy, win, or lose at an auction. We did our biggest stream, I think, for a foreclosure auction was a commercial property where we had a winning bid. I believe it was $2.1 million. I don't know anybody else that spends that kind of money online with you guys, but we spent $2.1 million on a live stream one time. And we still have that property. That was a couple of years ago. We still have that property today. We're doing a ton of work to it. Again, you don't have to, right? You can go out and buy yourself a nice house for $50,000. Well, maybe not such a nice house, but it'll be nice when you get it done. And you can get yourself way ahead of the curve. We teach this stuff. We would love to have more people learn about it. So please stick around our channel, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and learn how you can do this stuff for yourself. Literally, when it comes to the topic of foreclosures and how you can buy, or your first real estate property, your fifth real estate investment property, whatever it might be, this stuff can get really boring learning about it. I don't like watching a lot of this stuff. I definitely don't like reading a lot of the books about real estate. To me, it's kind of boring and dry. And so Matt and I finally, had to talk about it, and we said, hey, we should write a book about this stuff. We have seen it all. Every time we say we've seen it all, something new, something completely different happens. It's just the way it goes. But, we eventually did decide, hey, we got to share some of this stuff with our people. We got to share some of our experiences. So we did. And so we did. And now I literally tell people we wrote the book on foreclosures. And I'm not wrong. I have it, but I'm not wrong about it. But we couldn't do it in a boring way because I would have fallen asleep putting this thing together. So instead, what we did is it's called Foreclosures Unlocked. It's on Amazon. And guys, it's a choose your own adventure book because we can't do anything like a bunch of normal people, right? We had to make it different because I would fall asleep if I was having to do it. It's called Foreclosures Unlocked. You can find it on Amazon. It's a choose your own adventure book where, these things are built 100% off of real experiences. We change a lot of names and addresses and stuff like that in it, but there are some real endings, stories, and examples in there that came right out of some of our life for the last few years, where we had amazing successes. We had some wacky events, stuff you just wouldn't believe, stuff I'm sure I'd get censored if I put it on YouTube. And we've had some horrible mistakes. We made one of our biggest, most expensive mistakes, which, I think we finally just finished, the bleeding on. And that really, really hurt. But that stuff's in the book. You can find it, like I said, on Amazon. It's $20 for the paperback. If you, seriously, if you've been to college, you know how much a college textbook costs. You don't have to pay tuition. You don't have to pay a college textbook price. You do got to come up with $19.99, and I hope you do it. You hopefully won't fall asleep reading this. This one's a lot of fun. I've been doing some podcasts about it. That's been a lot of fun for me to talk about because it's always different, and we love live streaming foreclosure auctions themselves. So if you got our book and you tune into some of our live broadcasts, you're going to see how our thinking works lined up with how the book would read. And the book's written just like we are, and we act. It's not like we spruced it up and acted all super formal for the book. It's written the way, we act and are goofy, kind of blunt guys who, have a lot of fun doing this stuff. I mean, we have a very high stakes professional business, but we don't conduct ourselves in that kind of high stakes professional stuffed shirt kind of manner. And I hope it really comes across for you when you read that. But I want to check out some of the shorts that we've been pumping out on YouTube. And I'm telling you, these things have been getting a lot of attention. You guys take On Real Estate as our channel name. We have a huge growing subscribers list here on YouTube. Over 19,000 people showed up already to subscribe to our channel. It's been growing right as I'm on here. It's actually growing, which is really awesome to see. And we really hope we can see that continue. The best thing about something like this is there's so much opportunity for you guys to learn from people like us that have had so much experience and have had so many things go wrong. We didn't know what we were doing when we bought our first property. We didn't know what we were doing when we rented it to our first tenant. And we have no problem telling you about that. It was a disaster. We made every mistake we could possibly have made, and we made a few more. And that's why I wanted to show you this stuff and create a channel that'll help you learn from us with it as well. Trying to find the video right now that so we have two that are actually growing pretty fast right now. One is the tenant stealing electricity from the common area hallways. It's a 6-family apartment building. I mean, absolutely ridiculous stuff. And, the apartment building itself it's in Massachusetts, so it's been around for 50, 75, 100 years. There's probably been an outlet there in that hallways for almost that entire time. And, sadly, it takes a special kind of tenant moving in to make it so, you just can't have nice things. An outlet needed to be taken out. But basically, they're a Section 8 paying tenant. So Section 8 pays all but $46 a month for them to live there. The tenant's responsibility is to kick $46 a month out of their income towards housing themselves. And they don't do it. In fact, we purchased the property. We've been involved in that property for about 6 months now. They've never paid $1. They didn't pay a single payment of it. And, the remedy for that is to evict them. And you can evict people if they don't pay. But it takes several months just to appear in court. And the court fees and lawyer fees, added up, you're pushing a couple $1,000s just to get an eviction done. So not necessarily worthwhile to do when the tenant is only being charged $46 a month and they're just not paying it. And they count on that. I mean, that's the thing. That's why they don't pay it, because they're like, there's not going to be any consequences. Why would I pay it? So they load on top of that. What they do is they're qualified for Section 8 because, it's a woman and her daughter, or maybe 2 daughters, that live there in a 2-bedroom apartment. And she doesn't work. She's got kids. So she needs rental assistance, basically. Rental do it all for you, basically, is what it is. And what they end up doing is they move in the boyfriend. The boyfriend, who's certainly also able-bodied and could be working and supporting a household like a normal, relationship would have. And they don't have him live there. So he doesn't live with her. She's single and a mom trying to take care of her kids. So the government, kicks taxpayer money towards her to cover that stuff. But then they basically just move in the boyfriend anyway. So he doesn't live there, but he's living there. It is really, really hard to prove, because he'll be like, you ask her, she'll be like, no, he doesn't live here. He just visits every day. I mean, these are his kids too, and doesn't he have the right to visit his kids? So now it's like he visits basically every day. He lives somewhere else down the street with a friend, whatever it is. And he just totally visits all the time. So now you have, a Section 8 tenant living there with yet another able-bodied adult. And of course, they don't pay their rent because it's only $46 a month. No owner is going to evict them for something like that, because, again, in Massachusetts, the legal process takes many, many months to get in front of a judge to plead your case. You have to pay a couple $1,000 in legal and attorney's fees, and then you're opened up to counterclaims. Everybody's watched Judge Judy here, right? You bring somebody to small claims court, and they start coming up with whatever bizarre claim to kind of point the finger back at you about how, they're the victim and you're the bad guy. And it's really, really easy for tenants to do that. There's tons of legal aid. and services for that, and they can make a mountain out of a molehill. Literally, they'll come up with almost everything, from just vague claims of mold to saying they haven't had heat in 6 months, and no pictures, no proof, no mold tests, no Board of Health inspection, no report that the heat was out, and your inability to show that. I mean, nothing. But you have to sit there and kind of defend these kind of claims, and it can become very dangerous to do that. So that's kind of how that relationship works with some of the not the greatest customers you can have. To make matters worse, in this case, they actually had other people living there too. So I think she was renting out some of the apartment and basically charging some people some money to stay there. So she had, I think, 6 last names on her mailbox, which is basically supposed to be for her and her kid to live in, or maybe 2 kids. So even if the kids had 2 different last names from 2 different dudes, and then she's got a last name that, of her own, that only accounts for 3 different last names. So they had 6 on the mailbox. I kind of suspect that some of the kids' names are probably going to have the same last name anyway, though. And that's basically what she was doing. She was running kind of a flop house on your dime, on taxpayer dime, and then not even paying for it. And to the point where they prioritized everything else in life, even above not just paying rent, but paying their utilities. That's how the outlet was being now used in the hallway to power basically their apartment. He said it was for the fridge. That sounds good, and it sounds nice, and it sounds like they did what they had to do. But in reality, though, what it was is they were powering as much as they could off that one little outlet. I'm sure it was hooked up to a splitter, on our extension cable with an outlet strip, and that thing was piping hot. So I pulled it out of the wall at one point and touched it, and it was definitely hot to the touch. Not made for it. Those things were it's a dollar store lamp extension cord made for very low draw stuff, and made by literally the cheapest means of production possible in some other country that doesn't follow any of our regulations and laws about safety. And then sadly, I could have just walked right by it. I could have just done the vacuuming and cleaned the hallway and moved along and did my thing and left. But if something were to have happened, a fire breaks out, first responder gets injured, a neighbor gets injured, their household gets injured, and I had it's pretty likely that I saw it because I was there vacuuming, right, or cleaning up, or even if I was just inspecting the property, I'm walking right by an obvious safety hazard. If I did nothing, I'm now negligent and contributed to a wrongful death. So, I don't care if my property burns down. That's what insurance is for. But I do care if my people get hurt, my good customers get hurt, especially in the process. If you cause a fire and you have an issue or an injury as a result of it, I don't feel so bad. But I definitely feel much, much worse if somebody who's doing the right thing and living life the right and safe way, being a good neighbor, has to pay the price for someone else's stupidity. I have a problem with that. So if you're a property owner, you have a lot of responsibilities, and one of them is to handle and address situations like this. That's why I was really, really happy I was able to make this content and put it online for you guys, so you have an opportunity to see it and learn from this kind of stuff. It's not fun. It's a huge waste of time. We all know they're just going to keep scamming and getting by until they have to go somewhere else, and then eventually they'll do the same thing over there too. But we put it online because we really want people to be able to see your rights, your responsibilities, and what goes into owning a property. So that's our short that we have, like I said, on our channel, Two Guys Take on Real Estate. It's the landlord calls police on bad tenant, and landlord finds dangerous tenant stealing electricity. I literally caught these guys red-handed, and it's a shame. But I'm sure if I go back over there today, they've got it under control again. They paid their electric bill, but of course they haven't paid their rent. Still, their $46 rent. However, I'll find something else. One of the most common other things that somebody like this would do is they'll be very, very dirty with their trash. So their kitchen trash, they'll bag it up like normal, right? And what you might do when you fill up your kitchen trash is take it out to the trash bin, because you don't want that trash sitting around in your house. You don't want it smelling up the place. You don't want it attracting pests or flies, etc. What a lot of these folks will end up doing is they'll just take it and they'll put it in the common area. So where you saw the electrical outlet being used and stolen from, what they'll end up doing is they'll take their kitchen trash and just toss it in the kitchen hallway rather than walk it all the way down to a trash bin or dumpster or something, depending on the property. They'll usually do it at their back door, but A lot of tenants just have no grace and they'll do it in the front door too, that hallway. Either way, it smells horrible. Kids are coming and going and playing, right? Kids like trash bag height. And that's not cool for them. But most importantly, it attracts a pest problem. And it's always the people that do this that are the first ones to raise their hand and complain that they have a pest problem in their home because their landlord is a dirtbag. So, it's you can write a book about it, but we literally did. It's called Foreclosures Unlocked. That was a good segue right there. If that segue wasn't worth the $19.99 that this book is, I don't know what is. So $19.99, Foreclosures Unlocked. It'll teach you not all you need to know, but almost all you need to know from our experience buying properties at a foreclosure auction. Find it on Amazon. It's a choose your own adventure book that teaches you how you could buy a property at a foreclosure auction for way below, actual going rates in real estate right now. It also, more importantly, teach you how to not make huge mistakes by buying a property at a foreclosure auction and having it just blow up in your face. Not something we want to see happen. And it's happened to us. We wrote a book to help it, so it help you avoid having that happen yourself. Thanks so much for being here, guys, and being part of this. I know our views and stuff on YouTube are cranking with so many people having watched this video, but as I look and refresh the page, another 1,000 views for the landlord calls police on bad tenant video. I mean, that thing is absolutely running, and that's pretty awesome. We've got over 19,000 followers now, or subscribers, I should say, on our YouTube, which is really, really cool for me to see because we've spent a lot of time on our lives on TikTok. Wow, yeah. As I've been talking to you, we've grown another 20 subscribers. So thanks, by the way, if one of you guys are a brand new subscriber here, we appreciate it. We hope you guys have a lot of fun with this stuff. Let's take a look at some of the comments here. If I can pull these up. All right. Brandon says 1 minute ago, or that's how long since it showed up on one of our videos, make your kids into millionaires. He says, wow, it seems like all I need to be successful under this plan is wealthy parents. Great work. I'm going on a drive today to look around for some wealthy people to adopt me. Thanks. Absolutely. Find yourself. That's actually not that far from the truth. Find successful people and network with them, Brandon. If your friends are broke, breaking into stuff, stealing, have bad habits, prioritize anything else over learning, hustling, and growing, especially if you're, younger and in the need to become more successful than you are, then dude, for the love of God, yes, get out there, go for a drive, find better, more successful people that are emulating where you want to be. Definitely. And of course, America literally is largely based on the premise that I'm going to work super hard. I'm going to create the best path I have. I'm going to improve my life as much as I can for my kids. I'm going to work really, really hard and make it so my next generation can have an easier go of it than I did. That's literally one of the main driving things that made America so phenomenal, was that core concept. So that's a great thing, and should definitely be something to think about. It's part of what we have as a reason to create these social media channels. Is we had a really rough time in real estate. We didn't know anything. We learned as we went. We learned by doing and by fumbling, and we wanted to give you guys an opportunity to learn from our mistakes and our successes. So we created this channel, and that's one of the things that's been helping our channel skyrocket so much. So thanks for that. Landlord confronts difficult tenants. This is one where I was, it's a short on our Two Guys Take on Real Estate shorts feed. And this is one where I was confronting a difficult tenant who was just sitting out in their car in the yard of the property. They're really dirty. I mean, bags of trash constantly. They have bulk items. They basically just took all their old used furniture and shoved it into the common area hallway of a 3-family house. That means anybody that lives at that property that comes home, maybe somebody brings their family home, or brings somebody a date home, or a company comes over, they've got to literally navigate around this person's soiled mattresses, their old nightstands, their headboard is laying there just cockeyed. They have to literally have that eyesore right there, and in some cases have to kind of get around some of their belongings. Pretty crazy. But bad tenant will turn a unit into the slums, says Phillies. Philly. 100% bad tenants will turn a unit into the slums. I don't care how nice you do a renovation, how amazing you've done to try to manage that property, to clean up after it, how you could put granite countertops in and crystal chandeliers in that studio apartment or 4-family Victorian home, whatever it might be. And you get some bad customers in there, and that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to comment back. Couldn't agree more. Seen it all too often. Hope you're on. I don't know if you're Philly. I don't know if you're on live right now or if you catch this on replay later. But thanks very much for your comment. We appreciate it. Landlord calls police on bad tenants. That's my short where we're in a hallway of a 6-family house. We caught a tenant stealing electricity and endangering the safety of all the other neighbors and tenants. Handled like a gentleman. Rusty, come on. Rusty comments. Handled like a gentleman and a professional. I'm going to say you're half right. Smiley face. Am I supposed to smiley faces? Rusty, if you're in the live feed right now or on replay later, thanks for your comment. Another comment on our short from landlord calls police on bad tenant. Clandestine one. I would not be so gracious. It would end right then and there, not tomorrow. She'd be arrested, charged, and eviction process started. That's a big thumbs up right there. I don't know what to tell you. I wholeheartedly agree. That's not necessarily, hasn't been my nature in the past, but having done this and having had thousands of tenants, many of them fantastic, just good, normal people, off the radar, no complaints, nothing great to say, nothing bad to say, just regular business transactions, right? The sheer volume of bad customers I've had, I've learned very, very swiftly. I'll give somebody a chance to handle it nice, polite, professionally, but the second I don't see that being reciprocated, roll up your sleeves, crack your knuckles, and then go to work. Man. So I 100% agree with that comment on our landlord calls police on bad tenant video. I would not be so gracious. It would end right then and there, not tomorrow. She'd be arrested, charged, and eviction process started. Nobody's getting arrested over something like that, obviously. However, I would absolutely start swinging. I mean, figuratively, probably. Literally, probably not, but you definitely want to be very aggressive in the way you would handle something like that. Couldn't agree more. I absolutely agree. I'm going to write a comment back. On live right now, and just mentioned your comment. Awesome. Thanks very much, Clandestine One. I appreciate it. Oh, sorry. Bitcoin's in the chat, or we have somebody else with no profile. Do you recommend having something that at least about shared spaces and keeping them clean and their uses? Really, really hard, because when you start trying to enforce or put in lease provisions about common area stuff, shared stuff, you start running into some potential hazards there. If a mattress, which is very common, people just throw their old mattresses out in the front lawn. You don't really know who it came from, even if it's a 3-family house and 2 of the people are saying it's the first floor. And, you don't know it for sure unless you saw it or there's some identification on it. And you can't be like, look, it cost me $100 for the citation I got because of this filthy mattress. So I'm splitting up the fine, $33 for each unit. You can't do that. You have to be really careful about how you phrase things in a lease. I had a colleague who owned a large, it was a 16-unit property, and he had something basically harmless in a lease. People will sue over anything, guys. He had something basically harmless in a lease, but he got sued over it. And the wording was something along the lines. It's just generally was something like, please don't leave kids unattended in the parking lot, or, please don't let kids play in the parking lot or in the grass area unattended, or something like that. And because he specifically used the word kids, and he essentially mentioned kids in the lease, it became a age discrimination, or it became a discrimination lawsuit. So maybe it had to do with having policies for people with kids, but not policies against people without kids. They trumped it into something just ridiculous. He got a class action. They made it a class action thing because every tenant he's ever had at that property had that same lease. So this ambulance chasing law firms, and that's a thing in the world of real estate. They have the same kind of thing for real estate attorneys. They'll go after owners like that. They went and tried to find every single person they could that he's ever rented to, that ever had that lease, got them in to do it as a class action. Everybody kind of rolled their, they got the minimum, they get $25 per lease. So if you were and you opted into the class action, you won $25. Even worth your time to make the call about it. The thing was, the lawyer money. So the lawyer gets, when there's an award like that, it's called 93A, it's consumer protection laws. Those laws allow for the plaintiff, the tenants in this case, to have all of their attorney's fees covered by the losing party, the defendant, the owner. So the law firm, these local guys, made a fortune. A fortune off of something like this. And each individual tenant that could freaking care less about this, but answered the phone and was like, yeah, I guess I'll jump in on the class action. I'll make some money. They get $25. The lawyers made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Incredible. Some more comments on our channel right now. We're looking at some of the short feed comments. Thank you, by the way, for the question. I do appreciate that. Looking at some of the comments on our shorts feeds for some of our videos that have been posted, and it looks like 56 minutes ago we got a comment from George Louis Cortez. He goes, "Well, darn, I hope the rest of the people there are cool, because by this it seems like that man is." Hey, appreciate that. And I was I was showing a lot of restraint. I was pretty pissed, but I knew exactly what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it. And I wanted to give them an opportunity to resolve it without it becoming a bigger problem for them. At some point, we're going to be moving on from those people, without a doubt. Corey B, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, Corey, for jumping on. Seriously, hang out on our channel. We love hanging out with you guys. We love sharing our experiences, our good and our bad experiences, so you can learn from them. You can replicate the good stuff. You can avoid the bad stuff. And I'll tell you, we learned this early on from other people we found very, very willing. When we first started, we didn't know this stuff. And I reached out to a couple people that were very experienced, and I never thought they would have, agreed to help me out. But I was going to be their competition, but they were super willing, super nice with their time. And it was great. So I wanted to make sure I continued to pass that kind of thought process along to people. Let me write a comment back to him. So he was commenting on our landlord calls police on bad tenant short. That video is cranking right now on YouTube Shorts. I hope you guys had a chance to watch it. Give it a thumbs up. And if you're brand new here, hit the subscribe. If you know somebody who's sick of their 9-to-5, who wants to supplement their 9-to-5, who wants to ditch it, who wants to buy their first property, who wants to learn how they can wholesale property in their spare time, who wants to learn more about flipping properties, share our channel with them. We would really appreciate it. And you know what? So would they. And if you want to learn more about this stuff, we have an amazing book. I think it's amazing, but hey, I'm biased. What can I say? It's called Foreclosures Unlocked. It's on Amazon right now. It's a choose your own adventure book. It's 300 pages or something like that. It's over 300 pages of choose your own adventure fun based on our real life experiences. It's written the way Matt and I talk in the real world. It's not sounding like you have to be a Harvard scholar to do something like that. And it doesn't cost what a Harvard textbook would cost. This is $19.99. Anybody can find $20 if it's going to change their life and provide them some value and education. So I hope you guys take a second and find our book, Foreclosures Unlocked, on Amazon. Corey, hopefully you take us up on that. Otherwise, anybody else that's out there wants to learn more, find us and learn about it. And if you see us online again, feel free to jump back into the comments and ask us questions about it. All right, let's take a look at some of the comments on here. On the landlord calls police on a bad tenant. Here's a great one from Victor an hour ago. Posted this comment. He could have been a lot harder and I'm guessing colder, to the woman that because it was a direct fire hazard, and fires in homes kill people because they happen. So when the electrical system starts a fire because the flames break out of the wall and all the house goes, I've seen it happen with the house right behind me. That run-on sentence brought to you by Victor. Victor, thanks so much for the comment. I appreciate it. It's crazy because some people will literally argue with Victor and say, hey, that doesn't happen. It's completely safe. He's trying to make a big deal out of nothing. I can't believe the comment section on that video was so controversial with so many people in completely polarized stances. Incredible stuff. But I'm going to reply to Victor. Saw your comment while I'm alive. You're sadly very right, very correct. We don't want to see a fire happen. Hopefully we'll see Victor on our live stream at some point. Victor, if you jump in and you're on replay, your comment just went live, and I just got a response out to you. Thanks so much, by the way, for jumping on, Victor. If you're still here or jumping in and out of our stream, thank you. I love you've brought this on yourself, it seems. So landlord confronts a difficult tenant. That's another great one where we have just a really filthy, dirty tenant at one of our properties. So not only in the front of the house did she pack the front common area hallway of a multifamily home, did she pack it with belongings, old mattresses, furnishings. Basically, it's like she bought all new furnishings for her house and just crammed everything out there, like a U-Haul size amount of stuff. But the back entrance, the common area there, she has also full of clutter, but then just stacked bags of trash back there. Disgusting. You open the door, everybody has to deal with smelling it. If you're a neighbor in the apartment on the second or third floor, you've got to walk right by bags of someone else's trash. You know it's bringing pests in. You know it's causing a pest issue at the property. Nobody should have to deal with that. But you brought this on yourself, it seems. Not really sure how. I'm actually going to write back. I'm sure Fee is the one that brought that comment to us an hour ago. I'm just going to write out so. Maybe we'll get Fee to man up and come back and defend his comment. Probably not. I'm sure it'll be some mental gymnastics. Let me see. Here we are. Oh, here's a good one. Okay. So landlord calls police on bad tenant. This is the one where they're stealing electricity from the hallway because they not only don't they pay rent, they don't pay their rent, they also don't pay their utilities. And the electric company was at least able to stop serving their customer and providing their services, even though we're still providing ours, even though they're not paying. And FT Bravo Bear has the mental gymnastics to come up with this comment 2 hours ago. Remember when you used to rent a place, it was practically like it was yours, especially because most renters are paying twice the cost of the mortgage. Renters' rights have been demolished. Play slumlord games, get slumlord prizes. So that's really curious about that. If anything, tenants have significantly more laws now that are lopsided in their favor. There's no state in the country that is landlord friendly or landlord favored. All the states are tenant friendly or tenant favoring. Some are just significantly, radically more in favor of tenants than others. There is no state that protects landlords or property owners or favors landlords or property owners. They're all ridiculous. They're all out of whack, favoring tenants. Some, like Massachusetts, New York, California, are significantly, unapologetically out of whack. Those are what drove up prices. That and record inflation that we've all been feeling here in the last couple of years. We all know why and how, but that's why prices are much, much higher than it used to be. And when they have tighter contracts and leases, well, it's the result of owners getting squeezed, owners being overly harshly penalized and taken advantage of by these states and the incredible regulations that have been put into the housing market. So I'm not really sure what to say, but if anything, tenants have significantly more rights than ever before, no matter where you live. And of course, renters are paying twice the cost of the mortgage. If there's even a mortgage, costs have skyrocketed to property owners' taxes. Just in the last few years, property taxes have skyrocketed. Insurance rates have skyrocketed. If any work is needed to be done, labor rates have been skyrocketed. If you have an unskilled job, if you dig a ditch or if you flip a burger for a living here in Massachusetts, for instance, you're getting $15 an hour. You're getting $15 an hour to sit there and mouth breathe. I mean, my God. So obviously, if an owner has to do work to their property, repair work, improvements, maintenance, you name it, they're paying more now than ever before. If they need to replace a piece of wood or rebuild a porch or a wall or whatever it might be, lumber, we all know lumber, right? How much that spiked. It went up hundreds of percent. It tripled, quadrupled, quintupled in price. Supplies went through the roof. So yeah, with high costs now, with property taxes skyrocketing, insurance skyrocketing, labor and materials costs, fuel costs, oh my God, have skyrocketed over the last few years. Yes, just like with any other business, when a business's costs go up, that cost bump is reflected in the price that the customer pays. So it has everything to do with it. And again, we all know the how and why of these things, I think, at this point. But yeah, nice try, man. Turn off the plugs. That's a great point and comment. I've seen that comment a few times. Landlord calls police on bad tenant. That's basically when the tenant was stealing electricity from our hallway, putting everybody at danger and literally stealing from the owner. And turn off the outlet, essentially, is what they're suggesting. It's not really a switch. You'd have to just simply disconnect the outlet, which is what we did. We brought in our electrician. He, of course, took that out. Now, we won't have a place to charge a vacuum that is desperately needed for that brand new rug. That whole carpet was just renovated. The carpeting in there that you can see is messy. It's got litter and styrofoam debris all over it. These same people, shocker, are also dirty. Who knew? Who saw that coming? And unfortunately, if we were to disable the plug, now we can't vacuum. So we have to actually get a battery-powered vacuum to be able to do that. Sadly, that outlet's probably been there. There's probably been an outlet in that hallway for 50 years. And it just took this family, this household, to ruin it for everybody. Yep. Shane Morales comments on that same video. All these people will put cover over the outlet, which makes sense. The outlet is a common area to help people charge phones. Well, no, that's not for that, but I get the idea. And things not for her to run her apartment off of a series of extension cords. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, daisy chaining dollar store extension cords designed to power a lamp, also probably unsafely, is not what that outlet was made for. Neither were the cords. A lot of problems with that. Off that outlet he's referring to is by stealing from us. She is using the power that he is granted to the building, not to her unit. Yeah, somebody wants to plug in, I guess, something real quick in the hallway. That's fine with me, but they're clearly stealing and abusing it, putting everybody at risk while doing it. And really, that outlet is there for property use, maintenance use. We need to do something, out of there, like run a vacuum, for instance. That's what that property has the outlet for. Another comment by Sweepy. I hope she realizes how lenient you are when you didn't have to be. She's very fortunate that you didn't have her arrested for utility theft, especially being that you've told her the day before to stop. Yep, 100%. I'm just writing back. Saw your comment while on live. The live stream audience. What do you think we should do in the future with this customer? See what Tweepy has to say. Tweepy, thanks so much for your comment. I definitely appreciate it. And hopefully if you see this, you'll jump back in and respond. Hardly dangerous, but it is incredibly frustrating. Says Lewis 8290. Hardly dangerous, but it is incredibly frustrating. what makes you think it's not dangerous? I definitely disagree. I think it's dangerous, and it's certainly incredibly frustrating. Again, thanks for jumping in and your comment, but I definitely think this is something that puts people at risk, and it's also stealing. So it's pretty crappy as well. Trading, it's also theft. Dude, you're a class act. Great communication. Hey, that's pretty awesome. Thanks. I'll take it. I appreciate that. Thanks. We'll keep sharing our experiences. All right. Wow. I can't believe the amount of people that have watched that video. And we had some more subscribers. Thanks very much. If you're brand new here and you're watching this now or on replay and you're a new subscriber, thanks so much for jumping on and becoming a subscriber with us. We appreciate it. We hope you appreciate, everything we can deliver in our platform. We really do spend a lot of time on social media, cranking out this stuff, responding to comments, going online on live feeds like this one. And on TikTok and Instagram, we have a pretty huge following. We're up to almost 1 million subscribers over on TikTok, and pretty respectable numbers on Instagram and Facebook too, where we live stream things like foreclosure auctions, where we help share our experience buying properties at steep discounts so we can get them back on track. Usually they're distressed properties, blighted properties, rundown properties, abandoned properties. You never know what you're going to see when it comes to a foreclosure auction. And so we really like to do our best to share our experiences with people on that, and help you have an opportunity to learn how you can buy that stuff too, get an amazing deal on a wickedly discounted property. I'm just going to see. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had to change a couple of settings. So if you're interested in learning more about foreclosure auctions, how you can get a house at way less than if you were to go get a realtor and buy it online or buy it on MLS, you can find us on Amazon with our book, Foreclosures Unlocked. It's a choose your own adventure book because we can't write anything like a normal human being. We got to make it fun and entertaining for ourselves to do. And it's $20. Pick up a couple of copies, give one to somebody that you know that has complained about his job one too many times and you're sick of hearing it. Help him or her learn how they can do this stuff too. Like I said, 100% based on our real life experience and day-to-day business that we do. Thanks again for jumping on and learning with us. And for those of you that are brand new here, like I said, we're cranking. I'm literally watching people. Another subscriber just jumped on to our YouTube. So thanks so much to you, our new subscriber. And if you're watching this live or on a replay, thanks again for being here. We're answering questions and we're reading comments on some of our latest videos. Some of our latest videos, of course, being the very, very popular ones that are trending right now, dealing with some bad customers, some bad tenant situations. Unfortunately, it looks like really, really sad stuff where we have some tenants that don't pay rent, they don't pay their utilities, their electric got shut off, and then they start stealing power from the common areas. And I caught them, and we confronted them right there on the spot. And then there's a part two. Sadly, there should have been resolved pretty much right then and there, but no, had to have a part two. So you'll get to see some of that too. So if you haven't watched our vids on that, please take a second, find us, learn more about that as well. So you can learn and we can share with you, more of this stuff. There's plenty more to come. I've got a great one that we are putting together. It's an older one. I had recorded it and saved it, never did anything with it. I got buried for a while, but it's I'll tip it a little bit. It's a property that it's a 16 family property, wooden rear porches, and I literally could not believe what I saw when I came around the corner doing a walk around of this property. There's some tenants in the back wooden porches grilling the barbecue grill, not up on a barbecue stand or anything like that. Like the grill is up in the air, 4 feet off the ground. The barbecue itself was on the wooden floor. They were barbecuing on a wooden porch, right on the porch itself, with a gas can right next to it. And they were literally pissed off with me. How dare I? And of course, try to change the subject very, very quickly to something that they feel I was at fault for, which in this case was the fact that they're very dirty and had a rodent infestation, as they were saying. I said, of course you had a rodent infestation. You guys are leaving bags of trash at your kitchen door on these common area porches that you share with your neighbors. So, I mean, we've got a great video for that that's in the works. You're going to see that at some point too. Again, thanks for subscribing. If you're brand new here, don't leave. Make sure you thumbs up some of our stuff or turn your alerts on or however you do this stuff on YouTube so you get to see some of this stuff. We have so much more coming. And again, these videos have been very, very, very well received and crazy popular. I couldn't believe it. But one of them went for about 1 million views on Facebook. We have one right now here on YouTube that's cranking away and it's picked up 50,000 views today. And we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you and giving you the behind the scenes information of how this stuff goes. A lot of people put stuff online, right? They'll make a video, you'll see it, it'll go viral. You scroll through your feed and you see something happen, car accident, altercation, whatever it might be. In this case here, you actually have a couple of dudes who actually are part of a social media, channel and project. So we'll always be able to get online, give you more context than what you'll be able to see in a little 30-second or 18-second video clip. We're actually going to be able to give you the story, the background, tell you more about it, how it relates as a learning type of thing as well. So it's always fun to watch a Jerry Springer drama and all that kind of crap. I get it. Everybody likes to tune in on that. But if you want to learn something and get some value out of it at the same time, why not? So that's what we like to do. We like to provide entertainment as well as education. Education first, entertainment second. But in some of these videos, you get some more drama than some of the others. And for those of you that want more and more education out of it as well, and some entertainment while you do it, for $20, you can get our book. It's called Foreclosures Unlocked. We buy properties at foreclosure auction all the time. We've gone to thousands of auctions. We've bought some train wrecks. We bought some absolute home runs that have changed our lives. And we share our insights with you in a choose your own adventure book. It's a choose your own adventure book called Foreclosures Unlocked. It's on Amazon right now, $20. Pick up a copy, maybe a stocking stuffer for the holidays. I don't know. Maybe buy 5 copies. Hey, do us a favor. And seriously, you'll be doing yourself a favor as you're doing it. We really had a lot of fun writing it. We think you're going to have a lot of fun reading it. And like I said, at the very least, it's a choose your own adventure. It's an educational, entertaining book to own and read. Let's take a look here and see if we got some comments we can check out on some of our channels here. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. So there's a landlord tries to force out tenant. This is a great short we have where we have our Matt as the green-haired guy. I love our green-haired guy character. So does everybody on TikTok. That became a huge video. We've reposted that video, and even on the repost, it picked up a couple million views and just hundreds of thousands of likes. It's been great. So this guy does not seem to like landlords. Brandon says in our comment on our shorts feed right here on YouTube, don't take legal advice from a YouTube slumlord. Why? Why not? You can take advice. You can take experience and advice. In many states, it's a crime to shut off utilities. So this poor guy did not watch the whole video. In many states, it's a crime to shut off utilities regardless of rent status. A tenant could die of hypothermia or heat stroke and not be able to call EMS with an uncharged cell phone. The slumlord could be charged with negligent manslaughter. The better option for slumlords is to vet their tenants before letting them into a lease agreement. A credit report can be a useful tool. So poor Brandon commented. He ran to the comment section and he got to the comments before he watched the whole video where literally we tell you it's illegal and you can't do that, Brandon. I swear to God, you probably get really excited when people around the country finally started saying, let's go, Brandon, because that's the only time people were rooting for you, isn't it? Isn't it, Brandon? Yeah, so the video I think it's pretty easy to understand, but he had a hard time. The video basically shows a tenant not paying rent because they shouldn't have to, because they feel that housing is a human right. And even though they agreed to pay rent, as soon as they moved in, I'm not paying, housing is a human right. So the landlord takes matters into his own hands and he shuts off the electricity and he shuts off the water because if he's in the heat, because if he's not getting paid, why would he continue providing, is what he basically says. And before the video concludes with the tenant pointing out that that's illegal, it's a constructive eviction, and he's going to sue, Brandon decided to say, hey, this guy, don't listen to this YouTube loser. Sorry, Brandon. I'm going to say, tell us you didn't watch the whole video without telling us. Oh, of course. And it was Brandon who also half an hour ago saw the other video and decided that he wanted to make the comment of all it seems like you need to do to be successful under this plan is have wealthy parents. I'm going to drive around looking for wealthy people to adopt me. And Brandon, like I said, man, if you're hanging out with a bunch of people that aren't where you want to be in life, hang out with people that are. And so, yeah, you should get in a car and drive around and find people that are where you want to be in life and start hanging around with them. Make friends. Maybe don't have them actually adopt you. That's obviously a little farcical, right? But hang out with them. That's a great way to do it. Poor guy. Victim mentality is real. Good luck with your journey. Let's see if there's any others that came. Oh, we got a few. Oh boy. Okay, we got a bunch there. So I'm gonna scroll down. Let's see what else we got down here. Sorry. There's some that I can't read, as you can imagine. So we're reading and checking out comments on some of our YouTube shorts, including the one that's been very, very popular right now is landlord finds dangerous tenant behavior and landlord calls police on bad tenant. You don't steal electricity like that. I love it. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure there's much more creative and safer ways to do it. That's not one of them. Is that an old person? Nope, it just a very well used person. That person has aged themselves very rapidly. I'm just gonna write. Let's just say they've aged. Don't stop uploading videos, guys. I really enjoy them. Thank you very much, Gio. I appreciate that. I need a lawyer to sue my landlord. Well, you're kind of in the wrong place for it. They basically give those out. Let's see what else we got here. We got some great. I love some of these comments in some of our shorts. These are fantastic. This at least there's going to be some comments from some people that are going to be like trolling, which I'm a huge fan of. At least I love and I can really appreciate the creative ones. You guys are great. Let's see. Yep, he's wrong. Oh, commenting about a Dave Ramsey video. Real estate investor here. Yep, he's wrong. Just gonna say. Asking Kay Baker. I said, yep. She says, yep, he's wrong. I said, thanks. Weigh in some of our other shorts. We love hearing feedback from people who are also in the biz, for sure, for sure. That was a fun auction. Nice. Oh, I got. All right, we're getting here. We're getting here into some of the other videos that we've posted. Landlord finds dangerous tenant behavior. Lol. Why? Because he doesn't have where to plug in his apartment. They are using a landlord's electric bill. This comment was hard. It was hard to read. Yeah, I agree. There's so many great comments on some of these. All right. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to scroll back up to the top, see if any new ones are popping up. By the way, let's check our follower. Let's do that right now. Let's check our follower count. Where are we right now? Drum roll. We picked up 2 more subscribers right here on YouTube. Thanks so much. If you're a brand new subscriber, we appreciate it. We picked up now about 25, I think, or so since I started jumping on this broadcast and reading some of these comments and feedback and answering questions. So awesome. But wow, how about that? Another 2 followers, subscribers already. Thanks so much, guys. If you're a subscriber and you're brand new, welcome. If you've been here a while before, help out some of the newbies in the comment sections of some of our videos. People love to hear from people with experience. Even if your experience is pretty new, they love to hear people that newly started on their journey, so they know that there's others out there like them just getting their start. We appreciate it, and so do they. Help each other out in the if you're a subscriber in our comment section. All right, guys, I got to hop off and start working on making our next viral video, I think. We look forward to seeing you on our next broadcast. If you don't see us here on YouTube, make sure you find us over on Instagram. The same name as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all as Two Guys Take on Real Estate. Thanks. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Take care.